What's going on, world? I'm back. It's been a while. Married, and I'm still doing my research, still, debunking a lot of the myths and a lot of the tales we've been told. Um, I've been on a journey. I've been on a crazy journey. Moving on from the 5Gs and all that other stuff that were being deployed 2 years ago. Well, longer than that, but when I was speaking about it 2 years ago, we have Donald Trump as the president, and he signed over the bill. He signed over the bill to be able to get all those towers put up. So they bypassed all the questions and warnings that a lot of congressmen had when they were having the questioning for the companies that were proposing these new 5G towers to be put up immediately. They wanted them up immediately. So if you go online, you can find a lot of debates going back and forth with congressmen in the U.S. Senate asking questions regarding the safety of these 5Gs and them basically having no answer for them. They would say clearly that they had studies of the safety of these devices, but it was only done by their own scientists. And, how far is that going to be really notarized? So, uh, moving on with that, I've been on the climate control, the climate engineering, the geoengineering, and the vaccine. Having now a new wife, I've have to consider having a child again. I have a daughter that's 5 years old, and she had to go through the inoculation system, that we have set up in America, basically because of us not giving enough attention to really the inserts and what's in it for us. This herd immunity mentality has been going on for a long time because of all the major plagues we've had in life that have scared us into believing that God Almighty has not made us perfect enough to fight off everything that could possibly be thrown our way in this life, this world. Yeah, there are going to be people that are not strong enough. That same goes with animals. It's all different species. Not everybody has all the cards laid out. And even those that make it, all the cards are never laid out. We're always missing something, because that's the duality aspect of life, and the divine right, that the divine justice that goes on a day-to-day life. We now have to figure out a way to bypass these vaccines, from them being implemented where now we have to take them. There's no religious um, time that they allow you to not have to take them and still be able to go into the school system, your kids. They were trying to take that as well, but we had a landslide victory thanks to John F. Kennedy Jr. and a couple of vaccine they're not anti-vax lawyers, but the firm is anti-vax. What they're trying to basically expose is the fact that for the last 60 years, all the vaccines that we have been giving all these kids, and me myself including, our parents maybe, and I'm born in '89. All these vaccines that we've been exposed to have not been correctly placebo tested. Now, there's a lot of ones that probably are good, and they are, that we should consider. I'm not a doctor, so I won't tell people what exactly it is, but my wife is a RN, and she, does her research as well. So when we have our own, we will sit down and figure out what time frame we would allow a vaccine to be given to our kids. And reading the insert is what is really important. There's so many negative aspects to giving the vaccines as well. I will show you guys my arm in a little bit. I have a burn from when I got my vaccine in the Dominican Republic. It left a burn mark, little, like size of a penny. There's aluminum, of course, that we already are aware of, and now we know of all these dead fetus cells and like cow cells, and there's a bunch of inserts that I have to apply to the comments that we should look up, and a bunch of videos that I have looked up that are correspondingly going methodically, going in order from every insert that raises a red flag. And when it raises a flag, it's something that is out of our norm if we really knew that we were doing this. But we don't think about it, because it's, who has the time to sit there and read an insert, look up exactly what it is, and then fight with a doctor that went to school for 6 years to do what his doctorate and get everything done, and now you're gonna question him? How dare you? That's the attitude that has been passed down for years, because the medical industrial complex has been taken over for years now. From when we changed our medicine from more hermetic and more herbal and all that, more the Chinese medicine we had going on, and then we started going with the chemical based. Once we started going chemical based and the pills, and we got the Monsantos, we got the Bayers, we got all the big time pharmaceutical companies investing their money and chips into fluorescing their future and what they see our humanity should look like, which is obviously not good. We have now them basically lobbying the medical system, where all those lobbyists are the ones that are running the White House, from the military to the pharmaceutical to the big tech. They run our White House. They don't allow anybody, even if we had a good president, which in my opinion we won't. All presidents are connected. Like a 13-year-old girl was able to do a project and figure out that all of our presidents since George Washington are related to the protagonist family. It's the protagonist family dynasty. You look them up, protagonists. They are all selected, not elected. But even with that in play, we still have this hidden hand that's being, the shadow government that's being pushed, that doesn't allow anybody to actually make anything right. So we got the Rockefellers and the Rothschild taking over the money and taking over the oil, taking over our education and taking over our pharmaceutical, taking over even our aviation. They've taken over everything that they could get their hands on, because they're just a monopoly. The whole family is a monopoly. They don't play. Nobody can mess with their entities and everything that they already have in place unless we band together. They basically changed that system, the pharmaceutical system, into a chemical-based pharmaceutical system that instead of healing people, it treats people. So in the wars, when people would get hurt, you got people blood everywhere, amputated leg, all that. They needed something quick. We couldn't deal with the herbs and salt and all this weird stuff to stop you from bleeding. No. They needed, to ante up our medical system, which it has is of real benefits as well. But with that came, a lot of medieval kind of way of treating people, and it's still the same way we think about it now, because everything is interconnected. So the way that you eat is going to be the way that you feel. And if you feel good because you eat good, you're going to have a long life. But if you are eating unhealthy and you are, obviously going to be living unhealthy because of your choices on what you eat, you're not going to have the same energy. Your body's not going to produce that energy you need, the boost you need, is not going to have it for a long time. You will get to an age where it won't. It will just slow you. You will slow down. You will get sleepy, tired, groggy, fat, unhealthy, diabetes, high blood pressure. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could go down. So with all that being said, we know that they're not even allowing us to have the ability to choose healthy food that is not manipulated or not overpriced. Because we even have now the most the richest man in the world Mr. Amazon uh, basically buying Whole Food, which was supposed to be the healthy choice for groceries. So now a corporatist owns Whole Foods. So who knows what's really going to be placed on the labels now, and how organic is organic, and what's going on with this cage-free shit that they tell us about. We don't, but we gotta eat. So now we know that we're getting fed stuff that's going to make us sick, and then we're going into this revolving door system of medical system where they just quick patching you and getting you back out, and you got to really know your stuff and question your doctor to get labs and tests done to go deeper into any problems you would have. You would have to really search within yourself and be your own advocate. If you're not, you're gonna be just another person that comes into that crazy system of 100 plus per shift patients in an emergency room, that need to get handled. They need to get either a room, or they need to get patched up and get back out into the world, or whatever the case may be. So, they've made it where the insurance company and what's going on with them, they work in cahoots. So the insurance companies pay these hospitals big money for seeing us, but a lot of people that don't make money, they get the government insurance, which is just a co-payment, and they don't make as much money as they should from people like that. But people that pay insurance monthly and have the private insurance, they're basically paying for those in a sense. That money's getting somehow funneled through that system, where when you go and you pay your $20 co-payment or whatever, your monthly coverage is supporting those people that are not making money and still get full coverage. They don't have to pay insurance at all. They get the government one, and they're grown. So that's another thing that they will never change. They'll never personalize insurances to the individual, where the person has an insurance that would actually cater to you and your needs and your frequent timing in the hospital or pharmacies, or whatever it is. But no, they want you to just fall into one of these categories and pay X amount. Bullshit. But yeah, I was just had some thoughts I wanted to air out. It's good to just put it on here. The geoengineering is something that's got my attention now, with them basically spraying the skies every day. I live in Long Island, New York. They spray us every day. Every day, every night, when it's raining, when it's foggy, it don't matter what it is, they're spraying. They're perpetually spraying the Long Island skies, excuse me. And it's nuts. But we've had court hearings. You can look up Long Island, New York court hearing against climate engineering and geoengineering. Nobody could do anything. This is a military operation. They basically know that whoever can manipulate the weather can control the world, and whoever can control the weather will control the world, because you could do whatever you want. You could take precipitation from one side and make it rain on another part of the world, or make them have droughts. The chemicals that they're using is magnesium. They got aluminum. They got strontium. They got barium. They got a bunch of different metals to basically reflect off of the atmosphere, because they're going all the way into the I'm pretty sure the tetrosphere, not the atmosphere, the tetrosphere. So they're spraying all the way up there. You can see that it's far. It's not a commercial airline. It's like a military airplane that you could barely freaking see unless you really squint up and you see the line being just drawn across. They'll make an X, they'll make whatever figures they need to do to be able to timely block the sun. It's called solar management operation. So they're basically trying to block off the sun to have a cool down because of global warming. So they've lied to us about having too much sun being bad for you. So you get no vitamin D naturally from the sun because we're all scared of the rays. The rays and the 3 different rays that the sun gives us, they are very, very, very toxic if exposed in the wrong manner. Now I'll go deeper. Exposed in the wrong manner, meaning if you live in New York City, you can't just pop out in the middle of the summer, haven't been out like that, and think you're gonna be out for 4 or 5 hours straight in that crazy ass sun. You're gonna look like a lobster. It's gonna hurt, and you're prone to, like, cancer, all these extra stuff that could happen if you do that long enough. But if you gradually work your body, I work outside. I'm a garbage man. I'm out there every single weather, every single storm. I'm out there. It don't matter what it is. I'm outside every day. When you gradually build your body and your skin, which is your biggest organ, to basically get its own protection, just like you would if you were working with your hands, like I do. You get the callus, or barefoot people get the callus on their feet. You know what I mean? Our body naturally just builds up a protection against something. It don't matter what it is. It just does. God. Once again, like I said, God. It's not no vaccine, not no crazy God. So you literally produce enough tan over time if you go out, gradually to your liking. Enough tan to protect you from the sun. But now somebody that lives in the Dominican Republic, or somebody lives in Haiti, somebody lives right by the equator that is hot, they don't have the skin melanoma cancer rising like you have it in Sweden and all the colder parts of the globe. Most of our melanoma cases are places that the sun don't shine, because they need that vitamin D. You just need it. You can't have too much vitamin D because it's not good for your arteries and your veins and all that. Your system. But you could take vitamin K to be able to counteract that. But now with COVID being a problem, people are vitamin D deficient due to solar management. Them blocking out the sun, and also the lack of vitamin D in our diet and vitamin C in our diet. So now our levels is all low. A lot of people that died from COVID had very low vitamin D levels. It's not just your bones. This is deep. We got to figure it out. It's all interconnected. So as long as we start to figuring it out that everything is synchronized, then we could fight this fight together. I'm learning how to change myself and be more of an understanding person, that I got to teach somebody something that they don't know without making them feel like they should have known. Because I don't know a lot, and I still got a lot to learn, and my panel's open. Till the day I die, I will always learn something new, and would always have the detective mentality that I'm gonna go in and really investigate for myself before I make a conclusion on something. But on that note, I was just checking in here. It's a shitty Sunday. We had a nice Saturday, but we gotta fight, and we gotta still be able to see the light through all this, because this is always gonna exist. There's always gonna be the fight against good and evil, because that is what we need to be able to have good be good and evil be evil. How will we know what's good if we don't know what's bad? We need a duality. But we could shun that darkness down. We could always make it not so detrimental. We could always put a light to it, so the light's always brighter, because the sun and the moon both have 2 different times to shine. But that sun shines and you feel it. It makes more of an imprint. We should start doing the same thing with the darkness. We should be doing more of an imprint, letting that electric energy flow a little bit more, and resonate more, and be more brighter, more frequent than the magnetic energy that we're getting from the darkness, that's pulling a lot of our human, our fellow man into this world of dark and and rituals and kid pedophilia and murders and lies. All right, guys, I'm checking out. Peace.